If you're a founder, a CEO or a CTO or a CISO, this video is for you. You're wondering, how do you take the decision of where to host your data? For example, you have a CRM and you're wondering, how do I make that decision? How do I distinguish whether to host it on premises, in the office, somewhere in the corner, in a data center, in a hyperscaler like AWS, or in alternative cloud provider like DigitalOcean? How do you take that decision? We're going to take a journey together. We're going to look at all these options. What are your options? What is my opinion on the various options that are there? And we are going to go an extra step. We are actually going to implement a CRM in some of these providers, just basically showcasing these solutions in a lab. Perfect? See you there. So in this video, we're going to talk about on-prem versus cloud. And just to clear on the cloud that we are talking about here, for example, we have two different ways of looking at it. Number one is the consumer cloud, what people, may refer as cloud, for example, Dropbox, Google Drive. We also have infrastructure cloud. Now, we're not talking about consumer cloud here, services. So consumer cloud, think about it like you're basically paying for a specific function or specific service that is hosted in a SaaS mode, software as a service model. Okay, alternative clouds. So if you don't go to the hyperscalers, you go to the smaller cloud versions. Now the hyperscalers give you a wealth of resources to manage whatever environment you're doing. It doesn't matter whether you're handling big data or whatever you can throw at them, they can handle. Okay. Now alternative clouds, it's a little bit more scaled down. They don't have as many tools. They don't have as much redundancy, but they also give you a bit of flexibility, especially on the cost and especially on the cost, basically, and so many other things that you can look at. So alternative clouds, we have things like DigitalOcean, OVH, Hetzner. We have many alternative cloud providers. Now, for alternative cloud, they also go a step further. Some of them, they also go a step further in not only giving you VMs and load balancers and all these, which is the same as what hyperscalers can offer. They also go a step further, and some of them give you bare metal servers. Now, bare metal servers on lease. So bare metal servers is basically the server that you'd go to the shop and buy, but now instead of buying it and incurring the one-off cost, you'd say, okay, I want to lease this server maybe for a year, for 2 years, something like that. And you pay a certain monthly cost, and then whatever you would do with that server if you went to the shop and bought it is the same thing that you will be able to do with it once you lease it. Okay. Now, when you talk about on-prem is basically you're hosting your services either in the office or probably you've taken your services to a data center near you. Okay. So again, you went to the shop, bought the server and all the other hardware and equipment that accompany it. You maybe lock them somewhere in the corner of the office or in one of the rooms in your office complex. Okay. And then if you don't choose to do that, you also again acquire the same material, but now this material is housed for you in a data center where you pay a monthly fee. You also, your power needs and your cooling needs are taken care of, and also your physical security and all that, they're taken care of. So that is basically on-prem. So we're going to be looking at this in depth, make a bit of a comparison, see availability, for example, for cloud services, where can you host your services. We're also going to look at even data centers. We're going to just look briefly at what are the data centers that are available in Africa. Basically just to help you take a decision on where is the best place to host your data. Again, back to the question of whether we host our data on-prem or we host it on-prem or the cloud. Okay, so we said in the cloud we can either do our data in hyperscalers or alt cloud. Okay, so what does this mean? Hyperscalers, we're talking about people who have like big, massive data centers. That is AWS, Azure, etc. For alt cloud, we're talking about smaller cloud providers. For example, DigitalOcean, OVH, Voltra, Germany, Hetzner in Germany, so many. Or we host our data on premise. That means our data is in the office. Okay, so we can host it in our office or in a data center. So if we host our data in the office, what we are talking about is at the corner of the office, we are going to put office. At the corner of the office, you're going to have a server room. Now, how do we take the decision on where to put our data? Okay. Now, we're going to take that decision by thinking about a few factors. Number one is cost. Number two is security. Number three is compliance. Okay. And number four is responsibility. So with these four factors, I want us to determine which is the best place to put our data. Okay. So join me in this journey as we take that decision together. Okay. Now, I want us to take this information, put this at the corner of your mind, because you're going to revisit it. So this one, I want us to put it there, put it at the corner of your mind. And let us first of all go back to the data center, the cloud, sorry. Now, the data that we want to host here, think about it. You're a company, maybe 50 employees, okay? You are in real estate, or which company? Let's give real estate. It's an easy example. So real estate, you have a CRM, okay? So this is a system that is helping you to receive payments from, people are paying rent, service charge, all those kind of things. This is a system that is helping you to do that, okay? So we have it there. Now, the question is this: where are we going to put it? Let's go further. Let's say, who needs access? Who needs access? The employees. We have the integration. We also have so employees, integration, customers to some extent. Okay. So integration, you could be having banks, M-Pesa, other tools that you're integrating with. Now, that's a good use case. So we will start with the first scenario. Scenario number one, we are going to host this data in the office. Okay? So if we host it in the office, we need to get a room. Okay? In this room, we are going to put AC, air condition. Then we're going to get a network cabinet. Or a network rack. Then we are going to put some network equipment. We're going to put security. We're going to put the server. Then we're also going to put our equipment. So this is the investment that you have to make. So think about it. For network equipment, you're talking about this data, given that the customers are accessing it. You need integration with the bank. you need some connection to the outside world. So you have internet, okay? Internet coming there. Then when it comes there to the network equipment, you are securing this server. That is why you're going through some security equipment, maybe a firewall or something. Then finally, you now get to the server. Now, all these equipments, they need constant power. So that is why you have power equipment. So here, for power, you could be thinking about something like a UPS or an inverter with a battery system, and possibly, let's assume you're in a place where you can access the rooftop and you can be able to put a solar panel. That's a good setup. Okay. So this is you doing this job here. Now, if we come to our metrics here, how much will it cost to do this job? You have invested in a specific room. You have invested in environmental conditions. So in this case, you're talking about air conditioning. You have invested in a metallic box, that is a network rack. You've invested in network equipment, so we are talking about the internet, possibly a switch, a router somewhere. You have invested in security, so a firewall. You have invested, and remember the firewall also, maybe it is a paid version, it has subscriptions, okay? Annual subscriptions. So you're paying a certain license towards that. You've bought a server. That is a one-off cost. Since our server, our software here, mostly is running on Linux, you don't have subscription mostly, but let's assume you have subscription. Maybe there are it's a Windows service. Then again, there are some licenses that you need to buy, maybe Microsoft Windows Server, stuff like that. You have bought power equipment. So this is again a one-off cost. You can either have UPS or you can have this setup. Now, all this is going to cost you some money. So X millions. So let's assume it costs you 3 million to do all this. And 3 million is very conservative. So in terms of costs, you have two costs. You have the CapEx, the capital expenditure. You bought all these things once. In fact, let's put it 5 million. You bought them once. Spend 5 million, that's it. You have a bit of OPEX, operating expense, because these equipment need maintenance. So there's physical maintenance. There's also the person who is doing maybe a bit of configuration checks here and there. There's security. You need all these things. So there's a bit of operational expense. Let's say every month, you probably spend, depending on the criticality and what is needed, you probably spend 200K. Okay? Minimum. Let's just talk about that. In terms of security, what are we talking about? You need to lock this room. Okay? So you need to lock this room. So probably you also invest in something like access control. So what is access control? Maybe at the door, you will use a fingerprint, a card, whatever kind of biometric access that would be necessary. Okay? So you have invested in physical security through access control. You obviously have made sure that thieves cannot just break into the premises and whatever. So physical security is taken care of. Then there's also the cyber security. Okay? Cyber security is very important because even if this data you've locked it safely and all that, the firewall here and the security that you have, depending on your configuration, is very key. Now, I went to a true story. I went to a certain office, a government office. We were doing some work there. And I wanted to know where is the network cabinet so that we can be able to do some setup. A lot of work we do is in the network cabinet. So the network cabinet was in the manager's office, in the boss's office, and the boss was not in, so we had to wait until in the afternoon. You know how government offices are, wherever you are. Anyway, so when I inquired what is the issue, like why would they put a network cabinet in the boss's office, I was told, number one, the boss believes that if the network cabinet is in his office, he's going to get more reliable internet and get better access to the services. I don't know what you have to say about that, but I can tell you that guy, there's a principle called MBWA, management by walking around. He practices management by walking around. You can read up on it and see the good thing and the bad thing about it. Anyway, so we do not want to implement MBWA. We want to have proper cybersecurity mechanism. Just because I'm looking at it doesn't mean it is secure, you know? So, the other aspect of security you need to consider, we have them both nailed down. In terms of compliance, let's think about it. Compliance, if for example this is, compliance is in many forms. We have certification, ISO certification, Kenya Data Protection, the Kenya Data Protection Act 2019, it gives us some instructions that we need to follow if we are a data controller, and basically if we manage any data from the users. Now, in terms of compliance, if these people come to the office and they need to audit us, we have something to show them. We can show them there is a data at that corner. We can probably log in and show them, okay, in the server, this is where everything is. You can see the people's data, all that. However, remember, compliance has a cost, okay? If you're doing ISO certification, all those compliances, they have a cost. The organization is going to pay full cost of compliance, okay? Also, for you to hit or to be compliant, you need to make sure you have implemented a lot of things in the requirements. Whether you're doing an ISO certification, a cybersecurity certification, you have to follow the NIST, the requirements that are outlined. If, for example, ISO or NIST, or the other one that you're trying to get certified for, which means you end up spending so much more to acquire the certification in terms of having the right firewall with the right policies, the right segmentation, so many things. Now, what about responsibility? Responsibility, let us look at it in two ways. What is the risk? Okay, responsibility in terms of risk and skill. Skill can be debated, but let's talk about it first. In terms of skill, all these equipments, you need different sets of skills, right? You have the people who are professionals in the environment, okay? So they know the right temperatures, access control. You have the network engineers, cybersecurity engineers. We have server or infrastructure architects to architect the whole thing. You also have engineers of power. You have, when you go to the server, we have programmers. We have data security, data SecOps. Okay, I mean, we have so many skills that are required to bring this environment to life. Okay, the implementation of this environment for this company and another environment, same setup with another company, will vary depending on the skill set of the people who implement this solution. Okay, so I think we have a clear understanding of what that means if we set it up in the office. Now, just for comparison, let us think about it. If we now decide, I think setting it up in the office is too complicated, let's take this thing to the data center. Okay? So if we take it to the data center, what are we escaping here? We have simply said, we are tired of, getting a room in the office. We in fact do not have space. So what we are going to do, we are going to do away with the room. Okay? We're going to save room. We do not need the AC. Okay? We don't need the access control. We don't need the cabinet. We don't need the, what else? Oh, that's pretty much it. Oh, we don't need the power backup. Okay? So the inverters and the OPSs, we don't need them. Now, if we take it to the data center, what we have done, we simply pick this server. Okay? We pick this server, we take it to the data center. We are going to go and get a rack. We are going to hire some space. Get a rack. Okay? In this rack, let's say we have 2 servers. Okay? So we're going to have our 2 servers there. Now, the only thing, data centers are measured in terms of power. Okay? So they lease the space, that is a monthly, but data center, you'll hear they've built 500, 50 megawatt data center. So it is in terms of power consumed. So how is the power consumed? Power consumed, it is consumed by 2 things: the environment and the servers. So what I'm going to put here, and the environment. Remember, the data center is taking care of cooling, the environmental controls, humidity, blah, 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 just making sure all these things are okay. And then for us, our servers, I could buy a server that is consuming so much power. Another person could buy a server that is consuming maybe the same 2 servers, but mine is consuming so much power, either because of the load that is on it or even the type of server. Another one probably is the server that does not consume too much, so I'm at a certain threshold. So I buy a rack and they are billing me on a monthly basis depending on the power that I consume. Okay? So everything else, that is the network and the security, I'm going to bring it here. So I'm going to bring my network here. I'm also going to bring my security. And I'm also going to get connected to the internet. Now, remember, at least we have done away with a lot of things. Now we have said, let us take this thing to the data center. That means I am very sure that my server will never go off because of power issues. And I don't need to have maintenance on power or setup on power. I don't need to, or even spend the one-off cost on power because I'm paying power per month. That comes to the operational expense. In terms of cyber security, I need to pay somebody to maintain, to do my cyber security. My network and my server configuration, I still need that. The one-off and the monthly. Okay. In terms of CapEx, I have saved a bit because I've not bought so many things in this list. And the benefit is I have probably, when they were here, maybe I was living in a place where probably people could break in, stuff like that. In terms of physical security, I am pretty well taken care of. Okay. In terms of CapEx, I am taken care of a bit. In terms of OpEx, this one goes higher. Okay. So this one goes lower. Physical security goes higher. Cyber security. Cyber security is still the same. I'm still responsible for the security of my server. So this one is the same, remains the same. In terms of compliance, I have attained a bit of compliance because the data center itself has attained some level of compliance. So I inherit some compliance from the data center. And then now we can come to my environment and do the rest. So In terms of compliance, I'm more compliant. Okay? In terms of risk and responsibility, my risk has gone a little bit lower. Skill level, I need maybe slightly lower skill level. And the reason why I'm saying that is because if we consider the power as a skill and the other environmental conditions and all that, I have foregone those ones. So I don't need too many skills in that regard. So that is how, in this case, it might look like, okay, it's better to take my server to the data center than to have it in my office. However, one of the other bigger differentiators is the actual figures in cost. And we're going to look at them later through a blow-by-blow comparison. But now let us remove all this and go to the cloud.